So we've bought another car here at THQ Automotive. We bought a really known existing show car that was massive in the scene 10 years ago, but it's seen much better days previously. It says in the title that I hate this car, and I hate so much about this car, and that is because it's absolutely dripping in carbon fibre, and carbon fibre is not my thing. Back in its day, I get it. I mean, in this sunlight here, it looks great. But for me, carbon fibre is something that you put on a vehicle to make it stronger and lighter. When you add carbon fibre to an existing skin, it kind of just loses it. I appreciate from a car point of view, people like the look of it, and the weave is a really kind of sexy car themed thing. It's possible to overdo it, which is exactly what I think was done with this vehicle. In the day when this thing was out 10 years ago, it was mind-blowing that it had been done. But now I just think a lot of that we need to decarbon a lot of it, if not all of it. When I see this car, all I think of is that meme, that video that did the rounds of the guy with his Nissan GTR, and he's literally pointing at everything on this car that's carbon fibre.
Carbon fibre, carbon fibre, carbon fibre. Carbon fibre, 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 carbon fibre.
What's this?
Wing? Carbon fibre.
So as I said, this is literally dripping in carbon fibre. Tens of thousands of pounds were spent on carbon fibre for this vehicle. And if you like carbon fibre, great. I just don't like carbon fibre.
I don't like it.
Or not in this volume. Over the years, the 10 years of this vehicle being like this, it's just started to look tatty. Come in and have a look. So the window frames around here, the carbon's all peeling. The roof bars on it, the carbon's all peeling. Round here, the A-pillars, the carbon's all bubbling. When you look inside here, the edge of the dash trims, the carbon's all coming away. The parts of the other trim inside are all popping up. It's just starting to look tired. It looks great from a distance, but when you get in closer, it's just screams tacky.
Carbon fibre.
Not taken away from the fact that the Plush team did an exceptional job. Like I said, this car was the dream car. I found a post actually that I posted on Facebook 10 years ago, which would have probably been when I'd have seen this vehicle. And in this post on my private Facebook page, I'd listed my first car, all the usual questions they did. And one of them was like my favourite ever car or the dream car. And back then I said an RS6. And the reason being is when you've got a big family like I have, transporting them around with your luggage or your dogs or whatever, while having a fast, quick performance car that sounds amazing, there is no better car. This car ticks every single box. It just needs bringing back to its former glory. So another thing I really don't like about this car, as much as I love Rotiform wheels, the Rotiform CVT is the worst wheel I think Rotiform have ever done. Just my personal opinion. I think it looks terrible in the cast version because they're directional, so they look one way on one side of the vehicle and one way on the other. Now these aren't cast, these are two-piece forged, so they are directional, they face the same way on both, but it looks like a cast wheel. Until you go in really close, you can't even see in the hardware to see that it's a two-piece forged wheel, so you spend so much money on a wheel that kind of just looks like a cast wheel or one-piece forge. And the other thing as well is I'm not a fan of the grey on grey. I just think they kind of look lost. We're going to tidy it up. We're going to remove a hell of a lot of the carbon fibre, and what's left, like all the stuff on the front here, starting to have some chips. We're going to get over to Steve at Paintworx to tidy all this up. Tidy up all here where it's all gone. Probably put an original grille back in it again. You can see the windscreen here. Like I said, it's just seen better days. It needs returning to its former show glory. So the windscreen's got a big crack in it. So the windscreen's going to come off. Once the windscreen's off, we're going to pop the headlining down and redo the headlining. We're going to remove those roof bars and put black roof bars back on it. It'll just give us the opportunity while that screen's out. I'm going to track down a breaker on eBay and try and order some of the original trims so I can return some of this stuff back to the original, just to decarbon fibre it. Once we've got all the original door cards in the original leather, we're going to match that up and retrim all the seats in a matching leather. This leather, whether it's just not aged very well, but it started to just look a bit blue and a bit tired, and bring this car back to its former glory, the way it deserves to be, because 10 years of life has just started to make it look like a tired old show car. So the other thing from this vehicle is, as you can see by how low it's sitting, this vehicle is on air suspension, so we're going to update that. We're going to have a look underneath, find out what the bags are like, see if we need to update those and make a solo air kit for it. Management wise, this is running on AccuAir, and as much as AccuAir is great, or was great back then, it is quite dated, so we're going to rip out the AccuAir management and we're going to put our own solo management in there, just so we've got a more up-to-date feel and all the additional extras and features you get on the solo air management over the AccuAir. Exterior wise, we'll decarbon what we need to, tidy up the rest, get some of the carbon kept clean. I originally was going to decarbon the whole lot. I put a post on the RS6 owners page asking for people trying to find a donor car with somebody that had a Daytona grey, with a view of trying to do a swap for somebody that wants carbon. I'll show you the post, but the comments were on, you got the usual slating for buying a carbon car and not knowing what I was buying, and why buy a carbon car and remove all the bits. But loads of people said, why would you do that? It's perfect as it is. They just decarbon some bits like the door handles. Well, it kind of got me thinking, okay, might not be my cup of tea, but there's a lot of art and a lot of skill work gone in there, so maybe we'll tidy tidy up the carbon, sort out all the cracking issues, remove a hell of a lot of it, and then just maybe that'll be version 1 of the work. Put a new set of Rotorform wheels on. The guys at Rotorform, we're good friends with those. They're sending us a set of wheels that I'd seen on another RS6 I really like. They'll be here in a few days, so that'll be its first look. Once we've done that, we're already on the case for designing a Navis wheel, which people are going to love, hate, which will be going on it by the time it gets to the first show probably. And then I'm considering wrapping the whole thing in a colour that's a bit crazy and a bit wild. 1, because it deserves to be stared at. This car, it needs to be a wild colour, and 2, it just hides that carbon for me. But then whenever we come to sell it on again, the next owner can take that wrap off and have access to this carbon if that's their thing. So moving inside, I've managed to source a lot of the original parts so we can take all these back to black. Original door cards, so we can lose this and lose these carbon trims in here. The wing backs are going to stay. I think we're going to keep the carbon on the back of the wing backs, but we're going to change all the interiors, so retrim the whole lot through that. Infotainment system, well, this car's 10 years old, and as much as it has CarPlay, it's wired CarPlay. So Mitch has done some research and he's found a wireless CarPlay unit, an Android unit that goes perfectly in this display here. All the reviews say it's really good. Although we're buying it direct from China from a factory, it looks like all the reviews say it's really good. Wireless CarPlay, touchscreen, all the things that you're used to in a modern day vehicle. Just update this interface, because at the minute you have to use the little clicky dial here to move through, which just makes it feel very dated. Ditching the carbon steering wheel. I absolutely hate the carbon steering wheel. I get why some people really like that, but for me it's just not something. I also don't like this little visual light display at the top here. We're going to go for a standard retrimmed original wheel with possibly perforated leather and some Alcantara in there as well. As I said, we're going to remove the AccuAir E-level system. We're going to have a solo management that's mounted here so I can see what's going on all the time, and then give access to that storage space there as well. The other thing we're going to do with this vehicle is do an audio upgrade. So when this was Plush's vehicle, it had a real high-end audio upgrade, but then when they sold it on to the next owner, they stripped all that audio out again and just put it back to standard, and it sounds pretty poor, if I'm honest. The audio on it just sounds like it belongs in a Ford Transit. So give it the glory it needs again and give it a nice new audio upgrade. Things have changed so much in that 10 years as well. What you could do 10 years ago was a lot more complex than what you can do now. It's a lot simpler to do an audio upgrade in a vehicle like this. Another thing we need to update with this is 10 years ago, everybody just fitted via compressors and they were just so noisy. But nowadays with the solo quiet compressors, I'm just not used to the sound of a vehicle airing up. So under the install here, Plush has done a great job. Really nice tidy install. But here you've got these 2 via compressors which are just so noisy compared to what we're used to. So they're going to be coming out. We're going to be swapping those with a pair of the solo compressors so we can't hear it when the compressors are running. This is an RS6. And as much as it's got all this carbon here, it's been debadged. And I just think this looks like, Mikey described it best, it looks like the old Auto Trader adverts where they used to put the picture of the car on, but they had to hide the badge, or like an advert for an insurance company where they put a Ford Focus on and they hide the Ford badge so they can't be seen to advertise under the brand. It looks like that. Such a nice car, other than the fact the current number plate says RS6 on it, you wouldn't know it's an RS6. So we're going to rebadge it again, black badges, put the RS6 badge on it. This number plate's coming off. We've got a solo related plate to go on it, of course we have, but we'll show you that more in the next video. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Please do follow this journey. Let us know what you think we should do with this. Please do hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell to get notifications when more videos come out on this and all of the other crazy builds we do. And as always, thanks for watching.
Wasting time. I gotta hurry up and ride. I cut through the traffic lights just to get a piece of pie.